Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome or welcome back to my channel where I inform you, I educate you, and I inspire you. So with that being said, I'm just a messenger. So good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. Today is Friday, March 18th, 2022, and it's going on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that being said, I hope you guys are safe and getting to and from your destination safely, as well as staying hydrated by drinking plenty of water. As you guys can see, I need to fill up my water bottle, as well as preparing yourself for the weather depending on where you live geographically. So for those of you who are returning, thank you so much. And for those of you who are just stopping by, welcome on this channel. I suggest and advise information from a place of experience, what has helped me along my journey, as well as informing and educating you guys by using natural resources such as a dictionary, the source, the internet, and everyday experiences. So with that being said, me just being a messenger, I'm here to suggest and advise information. I do not know everything, so if these messages resonate with you, I suggest and advise you continue to sit back, be patient, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're comment down below and make sure you're subscribed by turning on your notification bell if it's not on already. So for today's video, we will go over and discuss how can you support yourself. So specifically and strategically, something that I like to do is use a dictionary and the source, once again, to inform and educate the collective, as well as reassure and have a different perspective. So on this channel, because it's about perspective and healing, one, it is a choice. Two, with it being an option, that if these messages resonate with you, I suggest and advise you continue to focus and practice daily. And if they don't, that you do not focus or surround yourself and listen to people, places, and things that are not for you. So for today's video, how can you support yourself? Something that I may do is break down the keywords from the title/topic, or I may substitute the words from the title/topic so you guys are able to understand the perspective. So me suggesting and advising information as a messenger, as a spiritual healer, first things first, when it comes to supporting yourself, you have to understand that when it comes to you being yourself, when it comes to you living life, when it comes to you healing, that it is going to take a lot of time as well as effort and energy. Anything that you put time, effort, and energy to is going to be a reflection as well as effort that is given to you. So rather you're putting your time and energy into things that are negative or positive, it's all about your intention, your motive, and what necessarily it is that you want. So some form of satisfaction, some form of validation, and understanding the growth and the progress. So just like that, healing is a progress as well as grieving. So when it comes to healing, knowing that it's a process and that you have to progress during that time. So supporting yourself is understanding that life can be very challenging, that you may have good or bad days, and that the emotions that you feel throughout the day are going to be based off of internally what you've been exposed to. So on this channel, because I'm suggesting and advising information as a messenger, meaning I am a spiritual being possessing a physical body, that there's no right or wrong way to live your life, as well as being mindful of what you are focusing on. So when it comes to challenging and living our lives, ever since you were born, rather you were aware of supernaturally your existence, or you're learning now because you're trying to align yourself and you're coming across this page, that there is no right or wrong way to do that. And the reason why I keep saying that repetitively, and the reason why I say certain things repetitively, is so for people to actually process. When it comes to information, you do not want to just listen or focus on people, places, and things that are not aligned with you. And how you best can go about supporting yourself and understanding what is aligned with you is understanding how situations make you feel. So for example, if I'm talking to you, if you feel like you're resonating, if you feel like I'm talking to you or about you, seeing how your mood is. Do you feel sad? Do you feel mad? Do you feel happy? Or are you curious? Are you patient? Are you willing to understand? Anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable in a negative way and not a positive way, such as harm, any physical or emotional pain, what I want to suggest and advise is removing yourself or taking some time to actually understand what it is that's triggering you and how we can go about supporting ourselves. And something that I like to suggest and advise for the collective, anyone here, sorry if you guys see the camera shaking, is investing a notebook. And the reason why I want to invest in a notebook for you all is for multiple reasons. One thing that I like to suggest and advise when it comes to healing ourselves is writing down our feelings. So if, let's just say, verbally you're not able to confine in your peers, or you live in an environment geographically that is not suiting for you and you don't want to express yourself, or you may not know how to express yourself, writing down how you feel has honestly, has helped me best along my journey when it comes to healing, because I'm able to understand the thoughts and the patterns as well as the emotions. So every single day, good or bad, life is going to continue to exist. And because we're not able to control the day, we can't control our environment, we can't control the people around us. We can only control what we focus on, what we choose to grow on, what we choose to invest in. It is mindful of the energy as well as where the energy is coming from. So in the world full of distractions, chaos, and false history and information of projections, it's really important to understand who you are. So supporting yourself is writing down how you feel. Supporting yourself is understanding why you feel the way you do. And it's not to invalidate how you feel, because on this channel, we don't invalidate people's feelings. We learn perspective, but we also understand that limiting ourselves and being naive, being ignorant, meaning you lack guidance or may not have the emotional intelligence or the knowledge to apply yourself, doesn't mean that you are allowed to be stagnant or that you're allowed to stay where you are. In order to grow, in order for you to support yourself, you have to understand, necessarily what it is that you are exposing yourself to and how you react. So choosing your company, such as the people you hang out with, the places that you're going to, what you're watching on social media, what you're watching outside of social media, who you're surrounding yourself with, as well as who you're listening to. Like, what are you watching on YouTube? Don't just watch this channel just to watch me, just to see what I'm doing. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm going to live my life regardless. And that goes for the people who are, trying to understand themselves. Like, don't watch people you don't resonate with. If you see something that makes you feel upset, and if you're not willing to ask the person like myself or people that you're focusing on, if you're not willing to see what they're doing, how they go about, or reflect and realize that, they have something that you lack or you may not understand, knowing that's only going to upset you. You have to be mindful of what you're focusing on. You got to be mindful of who you're hanging around. If you're hanging around people and you want to heal and they're not trying to heal, it's not to say that you can't be around them, but you have to realize the perspective of where they're coming from. Everyone in life does not have the same finances, the same emotional support, the same resources geographically, or the transportation. So you have to understand when it comes to supporting yourself that you have to be the biggest person for you. Like, when you wake up, when you get out your day, when you start your day, like, what are your intentions for yourself? So understanding that you're allowed to feel how you feel, you're allowed to go through things. Everybody in life, like I said, ever since they were a baby, came out the womb, as long as you're still living, has been consciously and subconsciously their higher self, like learning to understand your perspective. So of course, if everyone, doesn't live in the same environment, everyone's not privileged or everyone's not in poverty, you have to understand where you are in the world. Like, you can't look at people who, who are, where you want to be, and you're not willing to take steps or realize that you want to grow. Like, that's going to discourage you. You're going to feel intimidated, or you may feel like you're upset. And me personally, when it comes to envy and jealous, what I've realized is that it's deeper than people physically being envious and jealous of you. Like, people watch what you do because they care about you. People talk down about you because they care about you. People talk down because they care about you. Like, a lot of people, it takes a lot of people to, bring somebody down who they feel as though that they're above them. I only know this from experience. It takes a lot of people. Like, I've had a lot of people, like, in groups, never one-on-one. Like, nobody's ever came to my face, and I'm not saying that nobody can come up to my face and say anything, but it's a slim chance that somebody would really try to come up to you. And if they do, like, you will just look at them. Like, when people say stuff to me, I listen. I don't get upset. I'm not arguing. Like, if someone wants to say that I'm not attractive or I'm this or that, like, for them to have all that much energy to focus on me and I'm not doing anything for them, it's not your business. So supporting yourself is understanding, what you're going through, understanding, what you're exposing yourself to. Like I said, the company you keep around, what you're focusing on, and this is why it's important to write down how you feel. So, like, if your entire life people have projected their insecurities or doubts, and you don't have the emotional supports, you don't know how to heal yourself, you've been suffering, you've been going through trauma, they say that you have ADHD, OCD, PTSD, and you don't know how to, understand where these triggers are coming from. Writing down how you feel, most importantly, will allow you to understand, like, are these your thoughts or are these what other people think? Like, something that I've had to realize when it comes to supporting myself is taking some time to myself. So last year, well, up until this year, it's been a whole year that I physically had to isolate myself. And something I like to do is get a pan of handy dandy scissors, and I had to cut off a lot of people in my life are no longer meant to be in my life because there's nothing there for us to relate, and because they're not, trying to heal or trying to grow, you can't force people to do certain things. That's why on my channel I suggest and advise. I don't tell people what to do or how to feel because you can't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for people watching my videos, like, if you don't have intentions to watch my videos to grow, you're putting time and energy into me when you could be putting the time and energy into yourself. And I'm not just saying me, like I'm the only person in the world, because I'm not the only person in the world, but like, realize what you're doing, like spending your time. Like, how do you prioritize your time? Like, understanding that every single day could be good or bad. It's all about how you choose to handle your emotions, and handling your emotions is something that I want to suggest and advise that the collective we work on, especially myself. So like, anything I suggest and advise, I apply in everyday life. Like, something that I've been doing recently more and more is writing down how I feel and understanding why I get upset or why I'm triggered, because I have suffered. Like, it's not to say that people in life are not going to go through things and that physically nobody asked to be born, but supernaturally we're here. Like, once you're here, and the goal is not to be suicidal or to take your life or to kill yourself, but to understand why you're here, and understanding that every day is going to be a challenge as long as you're, willing to show up for yourself. So supporting yourself is emotionally being, genuine with yourself, not being so hard on yourself. So like, if people are mean to you, if you live in an environment where everyone's negative or toxic, narcissistic, whatever adjective, label, or attachment, this is why when I would read the words from the dictionary, the source, I was breaking down the key words so you guys can understand how it makes you feel, not to be content. Like, there are a lot of words in the dictionary. A lot of people don't like to be, like, the word humble, and I'm not gonna lie, if that triggers you, that triggers you. Me, I love to be humble, and I love to say that because I know that humble, belligerent, angry, mad, sad, happy, they're all words. Like, the words should not move you. It's how you feel when, the words are being addressed to you. So supporting yourself is reassuring yourself, like I said, not being so hard on yourself. So something that I've realized that I want to suggest and advise is the 4 A's. And the 4 A's are just, one, realizing what you've gone through, so acknowledgement. So like, since a child, because everyone does not have the same finances, the transportation, emotional support, physically, you know what I'm saying, or supernaturally, like what you've gone through, good or bad, and realizing, how did you make certain decisions. Now, most people, like any child, we make decisions based off of our guardians or our parents. And like, one thing I want to suggest and advise to a lot of people is learning to forgive the people who have raised you if they only did the best they could. So for example, my parents, how they was raised and the generations that they were born into, they only know what they knew. That's something that my mother had said to me a couple years ago when we were having a verbal disagreement or altercation, and I had to accept the fact that, unfortunately, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, that she was right. Like, she only knows what she has been taught. And it's not to say that there's, she's a bad person, but you have to realize, if people only know limited information or only know a certain amount of information and you want more from them, that is called an expectation. And one thing I want to suggest and advise when it comes to supporting yourself is honestly not having any expectations other than from yourself. Like, one thing I've had to learn about my mom and my family and just people in general is that nobody owes me anything. My dad used to tell me that all the time when I was little, and I didn't understand that. When I was young, I used to think like, oh my gosh, but he's right. Like, being a good person, because I think a lot of people get it confused how I look at it. People feel like, oh, you didn't mean nobody owes you anything. Like, you ever been being a good person and owing somebody something are two different things. Like, if you are true to yourself and you do right by yourself, the people you align with are a reflection you will connect with. That's why nobody owes you anything, because in the world you come by yourself and you are by yourself. All you have supernaturally is your physical body. You don't have the physical and material wealth. You don't even have, people in your life that are guaranteed to you. So the more you can support yourself and realize that you got to take care of yourself first, and the people that are meant to be in your life will align themselves. You have to put yourself in position. In order for you to support yourself, you have to be really like grounded and really understand, like, as a child, if your parents weren't, the richest, or if they were the poorest, that they only know what they've been taught by their parents. And it's a bigger picture for anybody who's African American. It goes back to our history. Like, we have been projected from all of these false, histories and all of this information. And that's where a lot of people fail to realize it's a dominoes effect. It really goes back to the beginning of time and how the world was set up. And as, time continues to reveal itself, So will the messages that I have to give to the collective. So for right now, we're just working on healing ourselves, doing the best that we can, and being responsible. So just taking each day for what it is, not being so hard on yourself, supporting yourself is verbally expressing yourself, isolating yourself, taking some days off, and realizing that time and energy, like I said in the beginning of this video, is going to be based off of yourself. So being mindful of what you focus on, being mindful if you want to heal, that it's a process. That's like grieving. Like if you've lost someone or if you lost something, it's going to take some time for you to understand, because the purpose of healing is to actually grow, checklist, and move forward. If you're not ready to move forward, then don't move forward. If you feel like you want to cry and be angry, and as long as you're not, causing any physical harm towards yourself or others, if you want to yell, if you want to listen to loud music, if you don't want to do anything, don't. You can only do what you feel. But to look at other people or feel like, oh, my mom was supposed to do this, or my dad was supposed to do this, or this person has this, you can't worry about those people, because at the end of the day, people are going to live their life regardless of how anybody feels. And once again, you could say that's transparent, but that's it. It really is what it is. Like learning to have sympathy for yourself. How can you support yourself? Show up for yourself. Understand what you're going through, how it's made you feel, and realizing, forgiveness. So once you're able to acknowledge, you can accept things, and accepting yourself. You accept your environment. If you were born into poverty and you're less fortunate and you want to do things more than what your area is, you can't look at other people and worry about what other people are saying. Like, don't listen to people who are not in a position to do better or trying to do better. That's like the people that talk about me, none of them are in the position to do anything better with themselves. And I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but it's like, if you're not in a position to want more, why do you think people are talking about you? People only talk about people they're inspired by. Like, people only talk about people they feel as though they're important. Like, people who are really living their lives and are doing what they need to do, they don't have the time and energy. Like, you're not the first thing that comes out somebody's mind, or at least for me, you guys. Like, when I wake up, I don't think about anybody other than myself and the people I do care about. Other than that, you got to be able to support yourself and like live your life for you. You can't worry. I'm not gonna be able to get to where I need to be if I worry about, oh, what this person had did and this person had did. Don't nobody care. Nobody cares, okay? So make sure that when it comes to you supporting yourself, you support yourself for you, because it's your life. So if you want to live your life accordingly, you got to start acting on it and knowing that it's going to take time. Like, I'm still, taking time, figuring things out, and just taking it every day for what it is. And the more you put yourself in a position to do that, the more likely it is you get like a rhythm. Like, until you get that rhythm, you have to start from day one. You have to start from somewhere. Like, you have to start. In order to cross the finish line, you have to start at the starting line. If you're not willing to start at the starting line, you're not going to cross the finish line. And in between the start and the finish line is the actual race, and your life is not a competition. That's why there's no such thing, to me, and I want to suggest and advise to you guys, there's no competition. To not compare yourself. Nobody is you. Nobody is you. So if you think other people are you, I hate to break it to you, but mentally you may have some form of illness and you may suffer. And physically, if you feel like you have to be better than or superior, that's why, the group of people who thought they were superior than the world are chaotic and cause the most problematic and the most issues in the world. And that's why the world is how it's coming out. But what you do, when you do wrong, you don't get to sit here and walk away. You get consequences. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life and don't forget to say hello.